Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're recording. Welcome to Training Tuesday, everybody. I am so happy to see you here. I'm doing it a little differently this time. So if it seems like things are a little funky, I'm trying to do this through the Zoom live stream because I want to see if I can get this in a recording. So I should still be able to see your comments if you comment. I'm keeping an eye on that. So if you see my head kind of looking in different places, that would be why. I should be able to, though, to see your comments if you comment, and I'm just going to try to verify that this is working the way I think it's supposed to. And we're going to dive in because tonight's topic is negotiations. So much fun, all about negotiating. Okay, I appear to be talking, and it looks like Jackie's here. Hello, Jackie. So let me just dive in to this. So sorry. Oh, sorry. Now I've got things going on that aren't supposed to be going on. Okay, here we go. Tonight's topic is all about mastering your worth. So mastering your worth, unlocking powerful negotiation skills for your next big move. And I love the topic of negotiations because negotiations is one of these leadership skills that is about all the things. It is all the things. Negotiation skills are about our ability to use our voice and to speak up. It's about having the confidence to use our voice and speak up. It's about our belief in our worth and our value, and then being able to state that. It's about our boundaries, what we will and we won't accept. So one of the reasons why negotiating is so hard, whether we're doing it for career advancement, whether we're doing it to just move something forward or move through a project or in our personal lives, is because it's difficult. It takes all the skills. So, and thank you, Jackie, for verifying sound. And thank you for the compliment. And hello, Joyce. Good to see you as well. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. So thank you also for those of you who participated in the survey that I put in our group page, because you were able to give me some direction on things to talk about. And there's so much here tonight that I'm actually thinking this is probably good material for another workshop maybe to do. I'll let you guys tell me that. I've got a lot that I'm going to try to give to you tonight. And at the end of this, if you feel like you'd like to dive a little deeper, do a little more practice, we could do a workshop around this in the upcoming weeks. So I'll let you guys tell me if you want that. But what you validated for me were some of the top fears and concerns around negotiations that we have. And again, a lot of this comes because we are not raised and trained to negotiate for ourselves. So number one concern was, I don't even know what to say. Like, how am I supposed to ask for what I want? So I am going to give you the framework for a script. But I'm going to tell you right now, the script is so much less important than the mindset and the energy that you bring to this. But I will give you a script. The mindset piece of it is the next piece you talked about, which was, I worry about sounding like I'm selfish, I want too much, that I'm vain and egotistical, like I'm talking up all my value and what I bring to the table. And for us, for women, that sounds really icky. Like, we do not love bragging about ourselves because we look at it as a bragging as opposed to stating our value, claiming what's rightfully ours. We also have some limiting beliefs. And these are limiting beliefs that we're going to have to own if we're going to get past it. And those limiting beliefs are things like, I'll never get paid what I want, or this company will never pay me what I'm worth or what I want. Or if I ask for what I want, I'll lose the opportunity. There's all kinds of things wrapped in that one. So we have some limiting beliefs we have to work through as well. So we're going to dive into all of that. Like I said, there's a lot to go over tonight. Before I jump in, welcome to Training Tuesday. For those of you who are the regulars, and I see that Jackie's here and Joyce is here. And if there's anybody else, say hi in the chat. I'm always happy to see you guys. For anybody who's new to Training Tuesday, welcome. Training Tuesday, we're here every week, 6 o'clock Eastern time, and we're here to talk about different topics relating to leadership development, to building our confidence, to finding the elusive work-life balance thing. And tonight's topic is negotiations, mastering your worth, becoming a master negotiator. So I'd love for everybody to say hi in the chat, to ask questions, to just jump in, tell your stories and share. This is how we get to know each other. So thank you for being here tonight. And the first things I'm going to tackle is there are 3 thought loops that we become victims to when we start thinking about negotiating and the fear of negotiation, right? So the first one is we get trapped in this double bind. The first thought loop is the double bind. And the double bind is, if I get what I ask for, I'm going to be disliked, right? If I push for what I want, I'm going to be seen as pushy. I'm going to be seen as aggressive. Even if I get it, people aren't going to like me. They're going to think I'm demanding. This is where we get into maybe I'm asking for too much. The other part of the double bind, though, that we get stuck in is, if I don't get what I want, then I kind of get stereotyped in this role of, this is the role, it will never be more than it is, which means I will never be more than I am. So neither one is a win. Neither one of these thought loops is a win, right? And it keeps us kind of trapped of, if I ask, I'll be disliked. And if I don't ask, I'll be stuck. So that's one. The second thought loop that we get trapped in is the blame game. Now, this is an interesting, there's a study on this, and if anybody's interested, I'll go find the research, but I was listening to a woman who is a master negotiator, and this was one thing she said that she's done studies on that was interesting, and I wish I could remember her name, but I'll look it up. The dynamic she found between men and women in negotiations is that when men negotiate for something and they lose, they don't get what they want, they blame everyone else. This person doesn't see my value. This person doesn't understand why it's important for this. It's always somebody else's fault for not recognizing their need or their want. When women lose in negotiations, we blame ourselves. I didn't argue well enough. I didn't present my case well enough. I was asking for too much. I didn't deserve it in the first place. So we get trapped in the blame game of somehow it is our fault if we don't get what we ask for. The third thought loop we get stuck in, we negotiate in our heads all day long, every day, and we don't even realize it. We make deals with ourselves, right, based on these negotiations. Like, how many of you have done this of the, oh, will I exercise? I'll exercise if I do this all the time. I'll exercise if it's not too hot, not too cold, not raining, right? I will literally set a temperature. Like in winter, you guys have heard me say this before, in winter, if it is below 17 degrees, I don't run. Honestly, this last winter, it was like, if it was hitting 22 degrees, I wasn't running. Like as I get older, I have a higher threshold for temperatures I'm running in. Flip side, on the heat side, like if it is more than 85 degrees outside, I am not running, because in Massachusetts, 85 degrees comes with humidity. So it's just icky. But that's a negotiation. We negotiate if I buy this, will I then get that? Do you guys find yourself doing this? Right? We make bargains with ourselves all the time in our head. We make bargains with our boundaries. This is where it gets tricky, because you guys have heard me say, if you break your boundary, you cannot expect anyone else to hold it. We negotiate our boundaries in our heads. We negotiate with other people in our heads all the time, and they don't even know it. Have you ever done the you're sitting in a conversation, and it's like, if this person says this thing, then I'm going to respond this way. But if he says this other thing, I'm going to go do this instead. That other person has no idea that you're like making decisions and choices based on what might come out of their mouth. It's not a two-way negotiation. It's a one-way negotiation, but we do this all the time. So we get stuck in these thought loops in our heads where we're making deals and we're negotiating, and we're not even realizing the impact of these outcomes. And if there's somebody else involved, like we're negotiating with what somebody else is saying or doing, and they don't even know it, then it's kind of a loose negotiation, but we're doing it. And it's a real thing in our head. We play this game in our head, and it sets a false reality. It sets a false reality because then the assumption is that person said that thing. So naturally I did this other thing, and that somehow was explicit when it wasn't. So I want you to just be aware of the thought loops, because when you catch yourself in those thought loops, we want to raise our awareness and say, I've got to step out of this, because being a master negotiator, it doesn't happen up here. It does not happen up here. We have to step out of our head and get into the actual discussion. Negotiation is something that happens with someone else on the other side of the conversation. And it's really not about the script. It's not about having the right script. It's not about having the right PowerPoint. It's not about necessarily having the right metrics. It is about having the right mindset. Your energy and your mindset walking into any negotiation is going to be far more influential than your data. Your data matters. Your energy matters more. So want to start, like I said, I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the script, but I'm going to start with like, let's motivate and elevate, right? Let's wrap our head around some different ways of thinking about negotiation so that you can elevate your game when you're sitting down in front of somebody and having the conversation. So one of the myths or one of the mindsets that we have to break is stop treating every opportunity like it's the only opportunity. Oftentimes we walk into a negotiation and we have such a win or lose mindset that we put all this pressure on ourselves and all this pressure on the situation for a specific outcome. And we're looking for the one outcome. And we don't remember that this is just one option and one possibility. And oftentimes, especially if we are under stress and we are under pressure, it's hard to remember this. But the truth is there is always another opportunity. Now, whether that opportunity is there's another job, there's another role, there's another checkpoint to ask for that raise, whether it's another position, another time. Honestly, I just went car shopping with my son. There's always another car. Right? There is always another opportunity. When we put all our eggs in the one basket of this is the only opportunity, we exponentially increase the pressure in our brain, right? We increase our stress levels about how we have to perform because it's an all or nothing. And we forget that we're only stuck. We're only stuck if we choose to be. So remember that every opportunity is just that, an opportunity. There is always another one, and we always have some element of control over our opportunities. We can take them, we cannot take them. We can look for the next one, we cannot look for the next one. We're responsible for that. Second mindset, negotiating for yourself is not negotiating against someone. You don't sit down at the table with your boss and negotiate against her. You don't sit down with a prospective employer to talk about what the package is going to look like, right? The benefits and the salary, and negotiate against them. That's not what the negotiation is. So you're not negotiating for yourself against someone. You're negotiating for yourself to achieve something. And that person on the other side of the table is also trying to achieve something. In an ideal situation, you're trying to achieve a mutually agreed upon situation, whether that's your salary, your job title, how a project is being run, you're negotiating bedtime with your kids, whatever it is, you're trying to come to a mutually agreed upon solution. So it's not a for and against, it's we're trying to find the common ground. Valuing yourself does not mean that there's no room to value others. So when you think about I'm going to talk about what I bring to the table. I'm going to talk about why I should be rewarded, what I've done for this company, what I'm worth, why I deserve that title. What about those statements is selfish or egotistical? This is where I would invite you to spend some time literally staring at a piece of paper and writing down what is egotistical about wanting the pay raise. What is selfish about wanting a new job title? What is vain about stating what you've achieved for this company so far, or in this role so far, or for proposing, here's what I could do if you allow me to take that project over? The veneer, right? That top layer is like, oh, I sound so egotistical because I say I can do that. Can you do it? Is it truly egotistical, or are you just stating something that, one, you know you can do, and two, you want to do? So claiming that the ask is egotistical or selfish or vain somehow is the easiest cheat we use to talk ourselves out of negotiating. And here's the other thing. Let's say it's a job interview or it's a promotion, but you're in competition with other people. You don't win by presenting yourself as the cheapest option. You don't win. You are not on sale at Walmart. You do not win this by presenting yourself as I am the cheaper option for you. And that's why you should hire me. That's why you should promote me. That's why I should get the new title. That's why you should put me in charge of that project. Because I don't bring as much value, because I'm not worth the extra money. You don't beat the competition by underplaying who you are and what you bring to the table, what value you offer. And it is not selfish to put it out there. Another mindset, and this is one that's really interesting, but I've heard this one from some women that I've worked with. There's a little bit of a scarcity mindset sometimes around negotiation, where we have this belief that if we ask for more, somehow we're taking away from someone else or we'll lose. Negotiation is a win or a lose. And part of the mindset shift I want you to make is to remember negotiation, no matter what the answer is, it's always a win. It's always a win because you're always getting information that's useful. The scarcity mindset, this idea that if I ask for too much, somehow someone else is going to lose, or somehow there's not enough to go around. And so if I ask for too much, they're going to take it all away. It makes us desperate. That scarcity mindset makes us desperate. And when we're desperate, we do not negotiate on our best behalf. If we are desperate for that job, I absolutely need that job. That is the job. And again, we're looking at it. It's the one opportunity. We're not remembering there's always another opportunity. This is the one path, the one opportunity. If I'm locked into that and I am desperate to get this job, I will take this job at whatever title and whatever pay rate they offer me, even though I know I deserve more. When we're in that scarcity mindset, we completely undervalue us because we're grasping. And we're just grasping for whatever we can get, not for what we deserve. That is definitively not a negotiating position or a leadership position. So be aware of falling into that mindset trap of somehow there won't be another job. Everything is limited. If I ask for more money, somebody else is going to lose. So I better just take the bare minimum. This is the mindset of I should be grateful for what I have. I know a lot of you out there are in a job and you're paid well and you like what you do, but you want more. But you know you can do more. But you know there are other opportunities out there. And you don't apply for the job. You don't raise your hand for the opportunity. You don't ask for more because somewhere in the back of your head is this thought that says, I should be grateful for what I have. And you beat yourself up because it should be enough, right? Why? Why should it be enough? You're wanting more and you're getting more does not take away from other people. It does not take away from everybody else. Now, I mentioned earlier, you're making assumptions. You're making assumptions, and assumptions are not safe because assumptions are the other piece, right? The assumptions are, I won't get paid what I really want, so I'm not even going to ask. If I ask for too much, they won't even hire me. We make these assumptions at the outset, so we don't even move forward. We don't ask, we don't apply for the job, we don't take the steps necessary to even find out if this is possible. So I mentioned that you can lose in a negotiation and it can still be okay. So I want to get back to that we are afraid to jump into the negotiation because we're afraid if we lose, that somehow that devalues us, that reflects on us. And we don't want to step into a situation where we can't win. And if you're competitive like me, if you're competitive, if you're ambitious, you don't want to walk into any situation where you can't win. And for those of you who are perfectionists, this is especially painful because you don't like putting anything out there unless you know hands down you've got this knocked, right? I get it. I get it. But in negotiations, whether you win or lose the point that you're asking for, you've still won because you have just gotten information. So you're applying for a promotion at work and you're nervous about applying for the promotion because what if you don't get it? What if you don't get it? Doesn't that give you some interesting information about the place where you work, about your boss? There's so much you can take away from that, which is, did I not get it because they think I'm not qualified yet? Well, then what do I need to do to show you that I'm qualified? Did I not get it because this company doesn't believe in me, but I believe in me? What does that tell you about the company? And maybe, is this the place you need to stay, or do you need to go look for another opportunity where your skills are valued? Not getting what you want in a negotiation also gives you power. And in two ways, you get power. First, you get power because now that you've asked and you've gotten an answer, you have the power to decide, what are you going to do with it? So you didn't get the promotion or you didn't get the raise. Okay. You can choose to stay where you are, work on a plan so that the next time you ask, you know you're going to get it. Or you can choose to go look for another opportunity elsewhere. If you believe you are worthy of that raise and that promotion right now, then maybe it's time to start job hunting. That's in your control. You have the power of that choice. The other place where you've actually put a little bit of power out there is you have just put your boss or your company on notice. You expect more. You think you deserve more, and you are willing to ask for more. That is a good thing. To let your boss, your management team, your executive team, your company know that you not only want to achieve more and you want to do more, but that you're willing to ask for it, does nothing but put you in a positive light. And that positive light says, I have somebody here who's ambitious and hardworking and willing to speak up. Why would I not want to work with her and promote her? Why would I not want to figure out a career path that makes her happy? Because if they don't, then again, power's back in your court. If they're not working with you on your career plan, is this truly where you want to be? You have choice. Even in very challenging job markets, there are jobs. And yes, we're going to make decisions based on, I have to pay my mortgage, I have to pay my credit card debt, I have school tuition to pay, right? Whatever it is, absolutely you have obligations and you are going to make decisions around that. But if you make those decisions based on the assumptions, I'll never get the job, they'll never pay me what I'm worth, then you're never going to go explore and find out what's possible for you. So anytime you're in a negotiation, regardless of how it works out, you are getting incredibly important information that gives you power and choices to make next. So let's talk about mastering, the mastering of negotiation. Sorry, my notes here just flipped and I want to make sure I walk through this properly. So the first part of it, like I said, is the mindset. And we just walked through several kind of mindset pieces. So how do you help master some of this, right? How do you set those gremlin voices to rest that are telling you you're asking for too much and you're being too selfish and maybe you don't deserve this? And we're a little bit afraid. We're a little bit afraid of the feedback we might get if I don't get the promotion, if I don't get the raise, if I don't get the job interview. So the first thing to take care of your mindset, there's two really simple things you do. One is create a mantra. Create a mantra around value and abundance. And then you repeat it. You repeat it and you breathe it. And I realize for those of you who are not used to working with mantras, maybe that sounds silly, but trust me, they work, but you have to use them. They only work if you use them, and you're only using them if you are repeating them to yourselves and believing it. Because your mind doesn't distinguish so much the play acting from the real acting. So if we have to play act the L'Oreal mantra of I'm worth it, right? Because I'm worth it, then do it. Because if you say it often enough, you're going to start to believe it, and you need to believe that. So whatever your mantra is around abundance, I love the because I'm worth it, because for those of you who are old enough, we all have a visual that goes with those L'Oreal commercials and Sybil Shepherd. For those of you who are not, it's still a great mantra, but come up with yours. Come up with yours. Every month, I come up with a mantra that, and I usually work an acronym around it because there's usually like keywords that I want to focus on. That help kind of keep me centered when I'm doing my meditation, but are also reminders. So I had one mantra that was focus, abundance, commitment, energy, and success. Those were the 5 words those were my 5 keywords for a month. It spells faces, right? So I remembered the word faces, then I sit there and go, focus, right? And go through it. Whatever works for you, but create a mantra and repeat it. You're trying to shift the mindset, and you're trying to distract your brain so that instead of asking yourself the questions of, am I really worth this? And what if they don't like me? And I'm asking for too much. What if? You are replacing those thoughts with, because I'm worth it. Focus, energy, and success, because I'm worth it. When that becomes the mindset, your whole energy and attitude changes. So that's the first step. Second step, the formula. There is the formula to putting out there a request. And I have another training. I did another training Tuesday. I really walked through in more detail what this formula looks like. If you want that training, I'll have to dig through and find it, but drop the word big ask. I think that's what I called it, the big ask. So drop the phrase big ask in the comments, ask ASK in the comments, and I will find that training and I'll make sure that I connect you to it. But the basic formula is you state what you want. And so it's I would like a raise. We'll start with that as an example. So you state what you want. I would like a raise. Second part of the conversation. Here's why this is important to me. This is the part of the conversation where you state that you want the raise. This is important to you because you would like your pay, your compensation to reflect your value that you bring to the company, that you bring to the team. And here are the things you do. These are your proof points. Because I generated X amount of revenue for the company, because I finished out these 3 projects, because there are things you've accomplished in your job. There are things that you're doing because customers love you and you get great customer feedback. Whatever it is, state your value. This is where your proof points go. I'm asking for this raise. This is why it's important to me. I want to be compensated fairly for the job that I'm doing. And here's what I bring to you, right? These are the things that I'm doing that equate what I'm asking for. That's the second part of the conversation. Third part of the conversation is, here's what giving a raise to me does for you. So, my boss, you give me a raise, and now you have a very happy and motivated employee who intends to stay put, do her job, do it well, and maybe do even more than you ask. You give me the raise, and you have a developing leader, a happy leader, somebody who's growing her team, who's growing her skill set, and becomes more valuable to you and the company. Maybe there's something else that your boss needs or the company needs that you can do under this raise. You give me this raise, and you've got somebody who is going to voluntarily lead that project that's a hot potato for somebody else. What's in it for your boss? Why does your boss give you a raise? Now, we know that the undercurrent to this, and this is why we're always afraid to ask, the undercurrent is, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to leave. Honestly, it's a possibility. In this particular kind of situation where you're negotiating for something for your job, you don't have to state it. If you're asking for a raise or a promotion, it is assumed in a good way, it is implied that one of the outcomes, if you don't get what you want, is that you're going to leave. This is how business and jobs work, and that's okay. So you don't have to put the ultimatum out there of you better give me the raise or I'm going to leave. What you say is, I would like this raise because I deserve this raise. Here's why I deserve the raise. Also, if you give me the raise, here's how it benefits you. So point one is, what do you want? Point two is why I deserve this, why I want this, what it does for me. Point three is, what does it do for you? What does it do for the company? You get this project done, you get this problem solved, you get to grow the team in this direction. You get someone that you counted on now in a leadership role, whatever your reasons are. Step 4 in negotiations is silence. That's probably the hardest step for all of you. And Joyce, you were absolutely right. I'm either winning or I'm learning. And that's how this works, because you are learning really good information or you win. You get what you asked for. Silence is the 4th step. And I cannot emphasize enough how important silence is. And we do not give it credit. When we fill in silence, we start filling it in with the negotiations. All the internal negotiation, maybe I'm asking for too much. All those internal negotiations, they start coming out of our mouth, and we have just derailed everything we've asked for. So instead of saying, hey, boss, I would like a raise. I would like a raise because these are the 3 last projects I did for you really successfully. Because when I look at the marketplace and my role, this is what my peers are making. And I believe I've shown that I'm worth that value. And here are 3 things I could do for you with this new raise that will also expand my role a little bit and will be beneficial to you and the company. Then I give my boss a chance to think and absorb and react. And if my boss takes more than 5 seconds to react, I'm going to be thinking, I got to fill the silence. I got to fill the silence. I don't like this silence. And what am I going to say? Well, but if I'm asking for too much, maybe we could just do something else instead. Or maybe you would want me to do this other thing instead. We start filling it in and we start derailing our entire negotiation. We also tend to go to like the worst possible story. We take ourselves down the lowest common denominator for ourselves. There's no win. Latasha, exactly. Stay silent. Get uncomfortable with the silence. Allow the other person time to think. Allow them time to think. Allow them even to say, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. You wanted an answer in 5 seconds. They want 5 days. Unless there's really some sort of urgency behind the timeline, give them the 5 days and do not derail your negotiation in between. Let them think. Let them think. It is okay for someone else to be uncomfortable. It's okay. It is not our job. Despite the way we were all raised, it is not our job to make other people comfortable. It is our job to create our lives and our careers the way we want. And if what you want is more money or a different job title or a job, you're in a job interview, or you want your mother-in-law to stop telling you how to raise your kids, like all of these are around boundaries and speaking up for what you want. It's all negotiation. So silence. Silence is step 4. So step 1, ask for what you want. Step 2, here's why this is important to me. And here's what I bring to the table. This is your value conversation. Step 3, this is how my value benefits you, because there's a win for you. Step 4, be quiet. Quiet. Let them react and respond. They own their reaction. They own their response. It doesn't mean you back down. It doesn't mean you quit. It means once you get a response and you get information, you now know more. You know more about the person you're talking to. You know more about the company and the company culture. You might know a little bit more about how you're perceived in your role. It's all good. Now, shifting the negative emotions, right? Because this asking for what we want stresses us out. If your mantra is not enough, right? That mantra isn't enough. Shifting our negative emotions can require more than just a mantra. We don't often think ourselves out of negative emotions. We can shift our energy with a mantra and a thought. But if we're really in the emotion, not in a negative thought, but in a negative emotion, really the only way to shift that is through action. And so the process is, it's a process, I've talked about this before, actually in different master classes also. It's called ARIA, and it is acknowledge, recognize, integrate, act. So I'm just going to consolidate it down for you. Acknowledge the emotion. You're feeling stressed. You're about to ask for a raise or for a new job title. What's the root of the stress? Is it fear? Anxiety? Is it fear that you're going to ask for something and not get it? Is it anxiety that you're going to ask and you don't know how, right? Get to the root of the feeling. Recognize the feeling. This is what anxiety feels like, right? You feel things in different places. You might feel some anxiety about how you're going to use your voice and how you're going to speak, and it might be a tightness in your throat. You might feel stress about, oh my God, I don't even know if I can do this. And that might be a knot in the pit of your stomach. So recognize where in your body you're feeling it and breathe through that. Integrate now is, okay, I have this negative thought. I'm going to accept this thought, and then I'm going to add to it. So the integration is taking that thought, acknowledging it out loud, adding an action to it. And then the last piece is doing the action. So for example, one of the ones I hear the most is just right at the outset. Well, let's use my example first of I'm asking for a new job, like I'm applying for a new job. So it's the mindset of they'll never pay me the money that I need. I'll never get a job that pays me as much as I'm getting paid now. And now that leads to stress because my whole supporting my family, my whole lifestyle is based on getting this kind of income. So if I don't have it, now I'm super stressed. Okay. So the emotion is stress and anxiety. The anxiety is recognizing that I do need to make a certain amount of money to sustain my lifestyle and to get where I want to go in life. So I'm going to breathe through that. And the thought is, they're never going to pay me that much money. Now my integration is, they're never going to pay me that much money. Maybe. So I'm going to shift this to say, they might not pay me that much money, but I'm worth this much money. And I need to ask. And then the action is, right, I'm worth it and I need to ask. Go ask. We shift our emotion when we take action. The emotion doesn't shift before we take the action. If you've ever had stage fright, you're still afraid on stage until you finally open your voice and say the words, say the lines, sing the song, whatever you're on stage to do. Stage fright doesn't dissipate until you start doing the thing. So just remember, when you're in a negative emotion state, fear, anxiety, sadness, identify what it is, identify an action you can take that's going to move you through it, and then go do the thing. And just know that you're somewhere between 5 and 50% through that action before you break down that emotion and it shifts. But you've got to take the action. Action shifts emotion, not the other way around. You've got to step into action. So remember, this whole thing tonight was just about how do we motivate ourselves? How do we shift our mindset and motivate ourselves so that we elevate our game? And elevating our game is the walking through the script and doing that with confidence. But we have to get to the motivation piece first, which is it's up here. It's up here. Okay. So that is Training Tuesday. Look at that. I crammed a lot in, and I know I went kind of fast, but there was a lot. So a couple of things before I let you guys go tonight, which is one is, if this is an area you would like to do a deep dive workshop in or something like that, or have me do a deeper dive masterclass in, drop the word negotiate in the comments. Just drop the word negotiate in the comments, and I'll work on that, and I'll announce when I can get that ready for you. If you'd like to do deeper dives on negotiations, how to negotiate and how we put ourselves in that position, practice scripts a bit more, things like that. If you would like the training that I did before on how to have the conversation of asking for what you want, that was drop the phrase big ask. I know there's a lot I'm telling you to drop in the comments tonight, so just bear with me. So usually there's only one thing I ask you to do. Tonight's there's going to be 3. Big ask, and I'll go find that training and make sure I tag you to it. And the third thing, I announced this last week, I will be sending some stuff out to you later this week or this weekend. Workshop that is scheduled is on that gremlin imposter voice in your head that tells you can't, that you're not good enough, fast enough, pretty enough, thin enough, whatever it is, not educated enough, not smart enough, that voice. We want to silence that voice. So there is a workshop that will be Saturday, July 29th at 11 a.m. That's a Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. The workshop they run 2.5 to 3 hours, because the workshops are where we actually do the work. It's not just me like this. It's not just me talking at you. We actually get in there and we do some of the exercises together, so that in the time we spend together, you're really digging deep into the material and understanding how to use it. If you're interested in the workshop, I'm actually recording this. I'll be filming the workshop because I'll be editing this and packaging it up for sale later. But the workshop, the recording of this is free. So it's Saturday, the 29th. If you're interested in getting the details on that, I should have the registration page set up in a couple of days. Drop the word gremlin in the comments, and I will make sure you are the first invited to the gremlin workshop and to the recording of it. It will be fun. Those are the 3 big announcements tonight, right? So it was negotiate for the workshop for this topic. It was big ask for how to ask for what you want, and gremlin if you'd like to do the gremlin workshop. And there will be more stuff. You'll see it on the group page regarding this, so that we keep it all straight. Thank you for joining me tonight. I love Training Tuesdays. Love that you guys are here, and I will follow through on the comments and make sure that I get everybody connected with everything that they need. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you for joining Training Tuesday, and I will see you soon in our group.